Hey, everybody. I'm really happy to be here expressing appreciation for my time with Ms. Wellness, Coach Tanisha Naughton. When Tanisha and I first met, we were in a women's entrepreneurial group. And so we were having an opportunity to share each of our sets of services. And even though I am not Tanisha's primary audience, she nonetheless very generously extended an opportunity for us to meet, have virtual tea, and learn more about what kind of coaching she specifically does. And immediately, it's like the universe tells you, like, here's a door I'm opening for you. Why don't you go ahead and walk on through? And so I did, and I coached with Tanisha. With was a great honor to be held by someone in a coaching space who was so knowledgeable about what wellness meant, not only about what we eat, but also about how we talk to ourselves, how we think about the world around us, and the choices that we make with every breath we take. Um, I knew I was uncomfortable in my body. I knew I was probably eating things that weren't serving me. And I also knew that I have a wedding coming up later this year. And so I had some impetus to um, receive help when it was offered. And um, Tanisha's kind of help is really unique. And one of the things that I felt was very special about her coaching approach right from the start is, um, and I would call it direct love. I wouldn't call it tough love, but I would call it direct love. There's something that cuts through all the small talk and allows you to get to the heart of your longings and be honest with yourself, be kind to yourself, and in a very loving way, walk yourself into greater well being. And that was the gift and the opportunity that I'm so grateful to have had with Coach Tanisha, Ms. Wellness. I hope you give yourself that same kind of gift. One of the first things that I got to do when I was coaching with Tanisha was to think about and really reflect on what's my why? Why now? Why was I coaching now? And in the journal that I kept for the time that we were coaching together, I want to read to you that I said, and part of myself knew this, but part of myself needed Coach Tanisha to really bring it into reality. Part of myself knew that it's time, it's safe. This was a mantra that came at the end of our first session. I had been feeling my belly talking to me about where we are right now, and meeting Tanisha and her offer to chat felt just right, gave me permission to listen into my body with her kindness and support. I got a lot of tips about food substitutions that were healthier. I got an opportunity to have really meaningful conversation and transformation with my partner because I love to cook, but I probably wasn't cooking the kinds of things that were good for me. I was cooking the kind of things I thought were supposed to be, wifey kinds of things to cook. And more than that, I got a reminder, encouragement, and a lot of direct care about honoring and choosing myself, which was not necessarily what I expected, but it was exactly what was needed. Because no matter what I take into my mouth for food, if I don't have the attitude that this is going to be something that I'm doing that's respectful of myself, respectful of my world, I can't really be my best self with anyone else. And so showing up in the coaching space, allowing myself to really listen to my life and being supported by Tanisha in a very direct, loving, accepting, wise, knowledgeable, accountable kind of way is what brought me to where I am today. It's been a lot of very subtle change, and it continues. It was so worth it. I hope you do it for yourself too. Thanks, Tanisha. One of the key things that enabled me to transform during my time being coached by Tanisha is awareness of old patterns of behavior associated with old patterns of eating. So, in my former job, the stress level and the hours of work were really intense. And so, when I would get home, I would make whatever meal, I would sit down to the front of the TV, and like immediately I would treat myself to eat whatever I wanted, however I wanted, to whatever hour in the night I wanted, because that was me time. And while that was probably a really good coping mechanism at the time, because it was a hard time um, to manage myself and my feelings. Um, Fast forward 5 years, and I'm still like sitting down to the TV feeling like there ought to be a treat, when that isn't something that I need to cope through anymore. And I had never thought about that until Tanisha invited me to look at old stories that were still defining my new life. And that was such a gift because it still continues with me. And once you learn something like that by working with a coach, you never unlearn it. That's yours. And that was an amazing gift. Thanks, Tanisha.